So let's do a little bit of pretenders and contenders. And I want to start with this by saying Oklahoma does not feel like a contender. Not to me, not to you, not to anybody. Feels like a team that is fortunate to be 4-1 and played some of its best football defensively in a loss. Okay? It also feels like OU's wide receiving core is non-existent. Matter of fact, throwing the football at Oklahoma feels like playing jackpot against Cthulhu. You're not going to win too many against all them tentacles. Although Michael Hawkins is out here throwing life and body to the wind, just going, I'm getting into this end zone, which is great. And then the defense that I kept calling elite decided to give up its first 250 yards. Auburn hadn't had a dude throw for 250 yards since Hugh Freeze got there. Hugh Freeze might not be at Auburn next year. That's how bad Auburn is. Peyton Thorne went for 267 on Oklahoma. Now, did Kip Lewis have the pick six to return it to the house to win the game? Hell yeah, he did. But I was also watching, particularly at corner, Wee's getting cooked. Jarquez Hunter, who couldn't move the ball against Arkansas, running up and down on us. And then Oklahoma ain't got no offense. We don't even have a running back room that we trust right now. Like, we can't run the ball and we can't throw the ball. It's like, please stay out of the defensive way. So, pretender for the time being. They beat Texas. Y'all might hear me change my tune, right? Given what we think about Texas. But I've already done that segment. I'll do it again later on. But I want to get out in front of that and just tell you, Texas got more to lose in that game than Oklahoma this year. Precisely because Oklahoma's already got a loss, right? I think a win certainly put them back in the 12-team conversation as a contender. But that's an if right now based on what we have seen. Continuing down the line, Ohio State, contender. We know why, right? They went into the portal. They came out with players. And as much as people want to get upset and mad about how much money was spent on the roster and the staff, you know who ain't mad about it? Ohio State. They don't give a damn what you got to say about them. All they want to do is beat Michigan and win a national championship. Back to, if you had the opportunity as the 1 seed or the 5 or the 4 seed to be like, hey, I want to play Boise State, I think Ohio State would do it. Because for them, it ain't about being the best. It's about, being the best ever. It's about being the best right now. The same way that Michigan's like, we don't care that we was cheating last year. We got the national championship, and we beat everybody 15-0. Nobody turning down anything but they call her in Ann Arbor, and that's how Ohio State's getting down. Oregon feels, once again, like a contender after a stupidly slow start. Penn State, not sure, dog. Not sure. Not going to know much about them until they play somebody that we think is good, like USC in a week from now, or Oregon, or Ohio State. Okay? I'm reserving because they've looked great, and then they go get beat by a drum by somebody we think is a contender. And then you got a whole list of folks that really, I don't think are going to be in this conversation as pretender or contender in 3 weeks' time, because we're going to have an answer there. Rutgers, Indiana, Nebraska, Michigan, and USC. Michigan is here because they're still winning despite not having a passing game, and if they ever find a passing game, maybe they are a real contender. But right now, I don't know that y'all trust Alex Orji to throw the football any more than I trust Seth Luttrell to call a great play that's explosive for Michael Hawkins Jr. I just don't see it. Nebraska gets an opportunity to get back on the good foot with a win against Rutgers this week, because Rutgers is undefeated. And Rutgers fans, all three of them, have been on my head going, why you rank us? Y'all made me look bad a couple of years ago anyway, because I was standing on a table for y'all in like 2021, 2022, somewhere in there, because y'all got off to a really great start, and then you damn near beat Michigan but didn't get it done, and then you turned back into a pumpkin. I'm not doing that no more. You're going to have to force me to put you into a top 25. You're going to have to force me. You're going to have to keep winning, because I was forced by Indiana to do it. We're getting to the part of the season where we're finally starting to run out of good teams, so we got to start looking at who could be good or who we expect to be good or who's actually good. And Indiana, I'm not sure. I know that Kurt Signetti is not afraid to say anything. If we're talking about pro wrestling, he was asked about going to UCLA before they went down and stomped out, before they go play UCLA. And he said, we're going to an old stadium to kick somebody's ass. He has things to say. Like, he said, I win, Google me. He's right? He's won 124 games. He's lost 35. He's never had a losing season. He's also saying things like, well, I'm the head coach at Indiana. Purdue sucks, but so does Michigan and Ohio State. And I'm like, yo, whatever. Okay. And right now, his boys are playing like it. Curtis Work was the MAC Offensive Player of the Year last year, and he's showing why. And the dudes that are showing out against the opponents that Indiana have played are mostly coming from James Madison with him. I'm also looking at the Nebraska of it all because Colorado might be good. We'll have a great answer to that question in a week's time, and we should probably talk about them getting into the top 25 if they get a win against Kansas State, which is only going to bolster Nebraska's argument for being in the top 25 too because they beat Colorado like a drum. Did they lose to Illinois? Yeah. It's the way they lost to Illinois. Basically spit up on themselves in the fourth quarter and in overtime. They beat Purdue so badly that Graham Harrell got fired. Okay? And now they get Rutgers. They beat Rutgers. You're going to hear, once again, the loud noise of somebody going, I think Nebraska might be good, guys. Until they play Ohio State, in which case we think they're going to lose, but that couldn't stop them. That might not stop them, I should say, from a 10-win season, which would be remarkable for Nebraska, and they might actually get a sympathy vote to get into the college football playoff based on a 10-win season because they might be the third or fourth best team in the Big Ten, depending on what happens in the SEC. It's not hard to see them getting in. I fully expect we will be here talking about the many ways that this season can go, even into the middle of November. And that is the reason that I am really in love with the college football playoff. Like, for the first time in my life, I get to talk about college football being played from August through December into the middle of January in a real way. I'm not talking about the Gasparilla Bowl. I'm not talking about the Gator Bowl. I'm not talking about the Independence Bowl. I'm going to be talking about playoff football that matters the way that NFL folks get to talk about playoff football that matters. And the only thing that I want us to do is to not laugh when the butthole says, hey, dog, I think I should be in charge. Feet, heart, brain, consider what is being said. Consider that we need everybody to function as they function, and that perhaps we are greater than the sum of our parts put together. All right, that is going to do it for tonight's live show of the #1 college football show with me, RJ Young. If you like the show, subscribe to the channel, like this video. I would love to get to 112,000 subscribers before we get to Saturday night's live show, which is when we will be back here live. Talk a little bit to Quincy Avery, QB takeover later in the week, and then we're going to be getting to football quick, fast, in a hurry. All right, that's it for me. Doses.